Welcome to AGORACOM, the Small Cap Epicenter and AGORACOM TV, a daily, fast-paced, edgy show bringing the best press releases out of the small cap world at the open so you can hopefully profit from them and maybe even find your next great small cap investment. Now, it's Monday, October the 6th. I've got great press releases for you, about 7 of them from both sides of the border. The big news today in the commodities world, gold is up $38 this morning already. That's the spot price, up to about $873. So look for a big day potentially out of gold. Let's get to the news. First off, let's start off with Legend International Holdings. This isn't a AGORACOM client. Have to disclose that, but this news definitely stands on its own 2 feet. This news actually came out Friday after the close. Reuters reported that George Soros, famous billionaire investor via his Soros Fund Management, has taken a 5.19% stake in Legend International Holdings. That equates to about 11.7 million shares. Legend trades on the OTC under the stock symbol LGDI, and you can find them on AGORACOM. I got a feeling that a lot of this investment has to come from the scoping study that was released earlier this year. If you're not familiar with Legend International, a scoping study came out earlier this year with significant results on their phosphate projects in Queensland, Australia. Specifically, British Sulphur came out with the scoping study. They did an analysis based on pricing of $100, $200, $300, and $400 per ton for phosphates, and they came out the following numbers. Based on $400 per ton, annual gross earnings for Legend International on their projects after CapEx and getting the project up and running will be about $1.7 billion in annual profits. That's US dollars. At $300 per ton, we're talking about $1.2 billion, and at $200 per ton, we're talking about $700 million per year. And as of the time of the scoping study, phosphate rock was trading in Morocco for $400 per ton. Also, later on the year, on July 16th, Legend International announced a landmark supply agreement with IFCO, which is India's largest fertilizer enterprise. You're talking about over 50 million farmers in a co-op. That's a pretty big deal as well. So take a closer look at Legend International. LGDI, George Soros is in, and you may want to take a closer look at why he's in. Next up, ACL Semiconductors trades on the OTC under the stock symbol ACLO. They announced preliminary revenues of $50 million for the third quarter alone, and that's preliminary. These are preliminary, unaudited numbers. This is one of Asia's largest distributors of memory chip products. This for the quarter ending September 30th, representing a 14% increase over the third quarter last year and an 11% increase sequentially over the second quarter this year. That's a pretty big jump. Alan Yang, CEO of the company, said, over the past 2 years, our revenues have consistently posted double-digit growth on a sequential basis. That's monstrous growth. This growth can be attributed to a robust consumer electronics industry and the benefit of our long-term supply relationship with Samsung. Gotta love everything about this press release and everything about that quote. ACL, their principal distributor of memory products, including DRAM and flash for Samsung in Hong Kong and southern China. They're now one of Asia's largest and most successful distributors of memory products. They closed on Friday at 39.5 cents. That's right up touching upon their 52-week high, which is 40 cents, off their low of 7.5 cents. What I like about this also, market cap, $11.2 million. Looks like great value. Do your own due diligence, but nice news out of ACL Semiconductors. Staying with our Asian theme, and you know how much we love these small cap growing Chinese companies. They're great. We got China Energy Recovery trading on the OTC under CGYV. They announced for the first 9 months of 2008, significant growth over 2007. Specifically, total contract value for contracts and orders completed during the first 9 months has reached $19 million, represents about an increase of $3 million over 2007. Now, important to make a distinction here, that may not necessarily be their revenue for the first 9 months, because we don't know when they're actually going to recognize that revenue. But nonetheless, pretty big numbers out of there. What do? They're a waste heat energy recovery company. If you're not familiar with this space, it's definitely on the rise, and when you're in this space and in China, it's definitely a company to watch. What is it? Industrial facilities and power plants, as you can imagine, release significant amounts of excess heat into the atmosphere in the form of hot exhaust gases or high-pressure systems. So what companies like China Energy Recovery do is actually recover those vast amounts of wasted energy, spit it right back into the plant, and create electricity and energy, and leading to dramatically lower costs for both the customer, and at the same time, great for the economy. They're focused on the Chinese market right now. They closed on Friday at $1.95. What I can't figure out here is they got a really wide range on the 52-week, from $12.90 on the high to looks like about 2.5 cents on the low, and trading at $1.95 right now. So I'm not sure what's happened there. Go take a closer look. Make sure there weren't any big-time negative events that drove it down that low. It might be a reverse split for all you know, but go take a look. Market cap about $5.8 million. Switching over to the venture exchange in Toronto, Andina Minerals trades on the stock symbol ADM. They announced the completion of an initial inferred resource estimate. This is on their Vulcan Gold project in Chile. They've estimated that in the 2 mineralized zones now, they contain 18.6 million tons, grading 0.85 grams per ton of gold, for a total contained gold of 510,000 ounces. What I also like about this is this project is located 4 kilometers northeast of another one of their projects. So total Vulcan property resources are as follows right now. Measured and indicated resources remain unchanged, 6.62 million contained ounces of gold compared to the July 2008 resource estimate, while inferred resources increased about 0.51 million ounces, about 510,000 ounces to 3.28 million ounces. So you got to like both the indicated and inferred numbers. They closed on Friday at $1.08, just off their 52-week low of 91 cents. Maybe good value there for you, especially with what gold is doing today. Next up, MEDX Health also trades on the venture on the stock symbol MEDX. They announced that they've received FDA clearance for marketing of their advanced laser treatment for pain. This product is called Oro Laser. It's a portable laser that's been cleared for marketing by the Food and Drug Administration. As a result, their distribution partner right now in the United States is immediately going to begin distributing Oro Laser to dental offices in the U.S. It's a low-level laser therapy. What it does is alleviate pain and accelerate tissue repair following dental procedures. So, not anything from a revenue point of view, but when you get FDA clearance, it's at least worth taking a closer look and keep an eye on the company. They closed on Friday at 19 cents, trading range of 10 to 46 cents. Looked like a market cap of $3.5 million. Keep an eye on that one. Next up, EV Transportation trades on the OTC under the stock symbol EVTP. Now, no revenues associated with this one of any kind, but here's what I like. They're America's first environmental car rental company. They announced some expansion, nothing major. They're moving into Seattle, Washington, and Salt Lake City, Utah, where they believe there's a lot of demand in those areas for environmentally friendly cars. What they're doing, they're the first company in the U.S. to rent exclusively hybrid, electric, and low-emission vehicles to the public. Typically, not something I'd report on because it may be a great idea, but don't know what their execution is going to be like. However, William Plamondon is chairman and CEO of the company, and I didn't know this, but he was president and CEO of Budget Rent-A-Car. He grew the company from $50 million in operating revenue to $2.5 billion in revenue, 3,200 locations, 117 countries. So we're talking about a guy that knows his business inside out, massive success in the space. He's looking to capitalize on the environmental trend, the green trend for hybrid cars and low emissions vehicles. So definitely something to keep a look at. However, they closed Friday at $1.30, in between a bit on the low range, of their 52-week trading range, which is $3.50 on the high and 57 cents on the low. What I'm not crazy about, though, is their market cap, just over $30 million right now. And I took a closer look. They've got about 350 cars at 7 locations throughout the city. So a lot of speculation already built in that stock, because I can't imagine that you can get a $31 million market cap by having 350 cars on a rental basis. So be careful of that price. Nonetheless, something to watch, because over the long term, 5-10 years from now, EV transportation could definitely be the next budget rental car. Back to the venture exchange, Oro Gold trades there on the stock symbol OGR. They announced that they drilling yielded up to 8.5 grams per ton of gold over 61 meters. This is at their project in Mexico. These are assay results from a recently completed 4,000-meter program, both reverse circulation and core drilling. A lot of highlights in there. Take a look at all the results. I do have a quote from the company. First, they're saying that it's going to positively impact their previously reported inferred mineral resource of 200,000 ounces of gold. That was put out on July 2nd. So I'd like to see that. It is a small number. It is inferred. Nonetheless, it's something to grow on. And Frank Powell, vice president of Oro, had this to say: the drill intersection of 8.5 grams per ton of gold over 61 meters is very significant, since it's our first core hole into the heart of a new discovery area. The results of this drill program have definitely exceeded our expectations. That's always good to see. and we're on target to reach our 2008 objectives of defining and adding new ounces to our current gold resources base. On the small side, but they are drilling and they got news, so go take a look at them. Closed at 29 cents on Friday. And finally, one stock called to report. It came out after the market on Friday. New Dawn Mining trades on the symbol ND, halted just before the close, pending news. Go take a look and make sure they haven't come out with something really substantial. That's a wrap. As always, if you're looking for more great small cap companies, don't forget about the AGORACOM marketplace. Close to 80 companies listed by industry and exchange with great succinct descriptions to help you easily find the one best suited for your portfolio. That's a wrap. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.